Hello, I am Marcus and welcome to a new episode of EV Journey. Now what I have here in my hand is the press release from Volkswagen about the ID3 pricing in Germany. It's not the ID3 first pricing, the ID3 pricing. So just so we remember, the ID3 first pricing in Germany is very similar to Portuguese pricing. So I'll round the numbers up and put the actual values below. But just to remind you, this is the pricing of the ID3 first. So the first is 39,000 euros. The Plus is 45,000 euros and the Max is 49,000 euros in Germany, similar to Portugal. So with this ID3 pricing, I'm going to start at the end because I have been absolutely gobsmacked by how competitive Volkswagen want to be. They have just thrown a nuclear bomb at all their competition. And I'm not joking, it is absolutely amazing. So they have an ID3 Tour, which is a 77 kilowatt hour battery. Now, as you know, in the ID3 first, it's a 58 kilowatt hour battery. So 77 kilowatt hour battery has a range of 550 kilometers. As you know, in the first is 420 kilometers. And also the Tour with the 550 kilometers also has 128 kilowatt DC charging, which just 100 kilowatt in the first. So what is the price of the ID3 Tour? So I was expecting it to be over 50,000 euros because the cheapest ID3 first is around 10,000 euros cheaper than the Model 3 short range with similar range. So I was expecting this to be around 10,000 euros cheaper than the Model 3 long range for the basic version. But no, it's not 10,000 euros cheaper. The actual price of the ID3 Tour 77 kilowatt hour battery actually starts at 41,000 euros. Yeah, that's right, 41,000 euros. If you look at the Tesla long range Model 3, which is 560 WLTP, just 10 kilometers more than the LTP of the ID3 Tour, that comes in at 60,000 euros. So the ID3 Tour is a massive 19,000 euros cheaper than the Model 3 long range. Now this is absolutely unbelievable. 41,000 euros for a car with a range at 550 kilometers. There's nothing that comes close. The next closest is the Polestar 2 at 59,000 euros. So that's 18,000 euros cheaper, and that has a range of 500 kilometers. Then we have the Hyundai Kona, which has a range of only 484 kilometers, and that comes in at 47,000 euros. So the Kona is still 6,000 euros more expensive than the ID3 Tour. Tesla owners will say, well, it's not as good as a Model 3. Model 3 has better software. Yes, Model 3 has better software, but what you get in your Model 3 on your software, you get autopilot that I believe most people are not that interested in. So if you are a petrol or diesel car driver and you want to change to EV, what is stopping you? Two things are stopping you: price of the car and range. So if you look at the ID3 first, even though it's got a WLTP of 420 kilometers, at motorway speed, you're probably only likely to get 250 to 300 kilometers. Where in the ID3 Tour, at motorway speed, you're more likely to get between 350 and 400 kilometers. So if you're a petrol or diesel driver, you want to change to EVs, one of your biggest issues is range, and they have just made the range as long as the Tesla Model 3 long range. So you have less range anxiety, and this is particularly true for people moving from petrol or diesel cars into an EV. Now the next problem with the Model 3 long range is it's a great car, perfect car, but it's 60,000 euros, and a lot of people who want to move to EVs, they can't afford a car at 60,000 euros. So Volkswagen have come along and they've done the car at 41,000 euros, and yeah, Tesla fanboys, fangirls out there, you're going to say that it's not as good, the software is not as good, that it doesn't have a frunk, it doesn't have this, it doesn't have that. Well, software, what you have in your Tesla, you have a tablet, and it's great because you can watch Netflix, you can play games on it. But to have that, you have to pay an extra 19,000 euros. Why don't you just buy an iPad? Just buy an iPad, put it in the glove box of the ID3. If you want to play games, if you want to watch Netflix, if you want Spotify, if you want Amazon Prime, just use the iPad. It's got everything. 500 euros an iPad. What if you have a wife and 2 kids at the back? Well, just buy 4 iPads. Everybody can have their own iPad. The kids and the partner, they can watch what they want when you're driving. And you can all do what you want on your iPad when you're charging. So that's €2,000. 4 iPads, €2,000. So that still makes the car with 4 iPads €17,000 cheaper than the Tesla Model 3 long range with all the gadgets. Now, diesel and petrol drivers, they may be thinking, well, perhaps I go for Tesla Model 3 short range. But the car, the short range, it comes in at €49,000, Tesla Model 3 short range. Surely you're thinking, well, it's only got a WLTP of €409. I'll just get the ID3. It's €8,000 cheaper, and it's got, you know, extra 140 kilometers of range. Volkswagen have just thrown an absolute bomb at all the competition. Tesla is probably very worried about this and will probably start to revise down the price of the Model 3, especially now they've managed to get cheaper batteries for it. So I expect the price of the Tesla Model 3, the beginning of next year, to come down, the long range version, to start competing against this Volkswagen ID3. Peugeot, all the Koreans, Renault, they're going to be very worried by this pricing, because just for a few €1,000 more, you get a car that's much better than the E208, the Renault Zoe, than the Hyundai Kona, the Ioniq. Just for a few €1,000 more. Actually, it's cheaper than the Kona. So the pricing of Volkswagen is absolutely crazy, and it's great, because finally we're getting cars that people can afford with a long range. Now, €41,000 is still a lot of money, but probably if you spend €25,000, €30,000 on a Golf, you know, over the money you'll save on petrol, it starts to become a realistic possibility for you to own a long range electric car cheaply. I mean, the competition must absolutely be in shock over this amazing pricing policy of the ID3 Tour. Now, they've got the Tour Max, which I'm going to talk about later. But first, let's look at the pricing of the other ID3 models. So they have some other ID3 models, and the first one, the ID3 Pro Performance, that costs €35,000. So that has adaptive cruise control, comfort, and inductive charging. They don't say exactly what it's got. So the cheapest ID3 you can buy is €35,000, and that's the one with 420 kilometers of range. Now, it will be 2 seconds slower than the ID3 First, and it will have less equipment. It's not sure exactly what equipment it will come with and won't come with. So my ID3 First at €39,000 is actually around €3,000 to €4,000 more expensive than this one, and this is exactly what I was expecting. They always promised that the 420 kilometer WLT range one would come in at €35,000 or just over. So this is exactly what I was expecting, and I'm still happy to keep my ID3 First. Then we go on to the Life Edition. So Life Edition comes with a comfort package including heated steering wheel, heated seats, and 2 extra USB ports. So mine is also coming with heated steering and seats, and that one is €38,000. So that one is €1,000 less than my ID3 First. So that's fine. I still think the First is a better deal for me, because the First still comes with a lot more things than that one. We look at the Style. Now the Style is €41,000, and that comes with matrix LED and panoramic glass roof. Panoramic glass roof. Panoramic glass roof is something I wanted, and at €42,000, no sorry, at €41,000, it is just €2,000 more than my ID3 First. And it also comes with matrix headlights, which look amazing as well. Now, it probably doesn't come with some other things that my First comes with, but I'm really considering, is my First looking expensive? Because I'd really like a panoramic roof. Am I willing to pay €2,000 more for a panoramic roof? Perhaps, if it includes matrix LED headlights as well. It doesn't come with dual climate control like my First does, but I don't want dual climate control. I'm perfectly happy with one climate control. Now I'm thinking, well, on the First, to get panoramic roof, you needed to buy a Max, and the Max was €49,000. And the Plus was €45,000 when you get the matrix lights. Hang on a minute. It seems like the first is becoming expensive. So let's look at the business package. Now the business package is €42,000. That comes with tinted windows, comes with more driver assist functions, comes with rear view camera like the Plus, and keyless entry. And that's just €41,000 as well. I mean, that sounds like the Plus. Well, there's the family. The family comes with 2 air zone climate control and keyless entry, panoramic glass roof, and that one is just €42,000. Hang on a minute. If I had ordered a Plus, because the family seems like the Plus, this is actually €3,000 cheaper than the ID3 First Plus. And it comes with a panoramic roof, where the Plus doesn't come with the panoramic roof. Hang on a minute. What's going on here? And then we've got the ID3 Tech, which comes with head-up display, sound systems, and it comes with all the travel assistance and all of that. And that's only €45,000. Hang on a minute. Doesn't that sound like the ID3 First Max? The ID3 First Max is a whopping €49,000. So they've got the ID3 Max, and the ID3 Max actually comes with DCC, which is dynamic cruise control. You can't get dynamic cruise control in any of the first ones, and it's only €44,000. It comes with massage seats and some other extras. Hang on a minute. See, if I was buying a ID3 First Plus or Max, I would be really annoyed, because these prices here are cheaper than the Plus and the Max. There's probably a lot of things in the Plus and the Max you don't need. Does anybody really need the extra 2 seconds quickness? I don't think so. Obviously it's nice to have, you don't need it. Do we need the play pedals of the First? No, we don't. Do we need those horrible stickers? No, we don't. What does the First offer? Dual climate control and 2,000 kilowatt hours for the first year. Like I said, I'm happy on my First, because for €39,000, this is exactly the price I expected at the lower range. Where I am excited actually is €41,000 to get the panoramic glass roof and the matrix LED light. The 20th of July, we can actually configure these and find out exactly what they do include and what they don't include. But on the big items like panoramic roof, matrix headlight, on the big items, they've been clear here. It seems that this is much better priced than the First. Obviously the First may have a few extras, but I think most of the extras, apart from the headline ones, are things you don't want in the First. So I'm going to try and configure it on the 20th of July if I decide to go for the panoramic one, which apparently is coming out in October, so mine's coming in September. These ones, if you order them on the 20th, you probably will get them in October, November time, I guess. If I decide that I prefer the panoramic roof one for €42,000, no, sorry, for €41,000, then I am definitely phoning Volkswagen on Monday and complaining, even if I've placed my order. If I decide €42,000 is a bit too much for me, because really I don't want to spend more than €40,000 on the car, the ID3 First is going to be an excellent car without spending an extra, without going over my €40,000 budget. But I'm going to see on Monday, make my decision on Monday, and if I'm not happy, I'm going to phone Volkswagen. Now I think on Monday lots of pre-bookers have already ordered their cars, especially people who have ordered the Plus and Max, are going to be phoning up Volkswagen on Monday morning completely irate at how amazing the ID3 prices are and how bad the ID3 First prices are. Now perhaps if you spec it exactly spec for spec as the first ones, perhaps the extra 2 seconds is an option that's very expensive, perhaps some things, but I think most people won't be interested in all these little extras. I think they're going to be more interested in the headline extras and will prefer to save money. So I think there's a lot of pre-bookers at the moment who are irate. I'm not too unhappy because my ID3 First comes in under €40,000. I knew there was going to be a 35-36,000 euro model, and I'm happy to pay an extra €3,000 or €4,000 to have the extras I've got with my First. Now let's go on to the other absolute shocker. So the absolute shocker is the long range one, because long range one is only 41,000. So there's going to be a lot of First buyers who would prefer the long range one over the medium range one. And they were probably thinking the long range one like me would be over 50,000, 55,000, and now they've been told it's 41,000. So only slight negative with the long range one, it's only a 4-seater. So here we go again, we're going to get the Tesla fanboy saying, oh yeah, but the long range Model 3 is a 5-seater. Well, probably most of the time you don't need 5 seats. honestly, I hardly ever need 5 seats. 3 seats, yes. 4 seats, yes. 5 seats, rarely. So why are you saying, well, why didn't they put 5 seats in it? Because of the weight. So probably if they had to put 5 seats in the ID3 Tour, they would have had to improve the suspension, put better suspension in, added extra seat belt. Now that improved suspension probably would have put the price much higher. And as we've seen, they want to throw a nuclear bomb at the competition. So they've took the thought, we're going to get a long range vehicle as cheap as we can possibly make it. And exactly that is what they've done. They've had to remove one middle seat to do that. That's exactly what they have done. It probably won't come with that many options, the 41,000 one, but compared to the competition, that's a nuclear bomb. And they're going to say, if you want a 5-seat long range car, you buy the ID4. But even the ID4, I think, is going to be very competitive as well compared to things like the Model Y and other SUVs in that category. So let's go on to the ID3 Tour. Let's call this the Max version. So it's going to be an ID3 Tour for 46,000 euros. That comes with head-up display, sound package, LED headlamps, comfort package, 12 massage seats, all the assistance packages, including the driver assistant. And it's got 19-inch wheels. Now the ID3 First Max comes with 20-inch wheels at 49,000, but I actually think 19-inch wheels are better than the 20-inch wheels. So this is actually 3,000 euros cheaper than Max, comes with basically everything the Max comes with, and it is 3,000 euros cheaper. Now, there's going to be a lot of first buyers who are going to prefer to go for this longer range ID3 Tour. And there's going to be a lot of first buyers who want to have a slightly cheaper ID3 than the first. If it's coming in October, you've just got an extra month to wait, and you'll probably save yourself a few thousand, or you'll get a quicker charging car and a longer battery charging car for cheaper or the same price that you're currently paying for your First, Plus and Max. So I think on the 20th of July, Volkswagen is going to be inundated with complaints from pre-bookers. I think it's been an absolute disgrace for pre-bookers how good the price of the ID3 is and how bad the price of the ID3 First was. Like I say, as mine is a first, I'm not too concerned because it's as expected. But then I'm thinking, should I spend a bit more extra money and get panoramic roof? Because that's really what I wanted. There's no way you're going to pay an extra 10,000 euros to get a panoramic roof and go for a Max. The extra 2,000, yes, perhaps. Well, perhaps should I forget that and spend just 41,000 and get a longer range version? Decisions. They've been a disgrace, I think, Volkswagen in this whole pre-bookers process. Absolute disgrace. I'm happy that the ID3s are coming out in October. I think that's great news. I'm not dishappy from that. We're getting in them in September, they get them in October. I think there's going to be a queue, so I think October will only be a limited number of people, first come, first served, and it will be delayed to November, December, because they'll have to manufacture them. And I think they're going to sell like absolute hotcakes. But I believe many pre-bookers are going to be on their computers on the 20th of July, specking the ID3 they want and putting in big complaints to Volkswagen. Perhaps that's something I'm going to do. Now, what we should do is, we should get together. So if you're an ID3 first booker, put your name down below, say what you think in the comments section, say if you're happy, if you're not happy, and perhaps somewhere on the internet, say if you think this is a good idea, we should put a Google Sheet together on the internet, or ID3 bookers should put their name against it, and perhaps as one group we should send a complaint to Volkswagen instead of people doing it individually. What do you think, guys? Is that something we should do? Leave your thoughts about that in the comment section. If you're an irate ID3 first buyer, as I said, I'm like this at the moment. If I'd have ordered the Plus or the Max, I would be very angry, I can tell you. But at the same time, I can't be angry because I'm just amazed at the pricing of the long range model and the pricing of the ID3. Suddenly we're getting a car in Europe, an electric car in Europe that's cheap with long range. That's a good car, golf size car, basically the electric Golf. And all the competition now are going to be absolutely petrified by this pricing. They're going to have to lower their pricing across the board. Tesla, Peugeot, Renault, Nissan, the Koreans. Because in Europe, if this pricing continues like this, Volkswagen are going to have a monopoly. It's just a pity that Volkswagen have been so dishonest or unkind to first buyers, because you know the first buyers have been loyal and first buyers have been waiting for this car since May 2019. Leave your comments below. Want to hear what you think. Thank you again, and perhaps we should group together as first buyers and send a big email as a group instead of individually to Volkswagen.